I remember growing up when the world used to be up and now it's turning over. And it's weird to see the world upside down. It is like totally upside down now. Right used to be wrong. I mean, right used to be right and wrong used to be wrong. But now wrong is presented as right. And it's happening everywhere. It's just everywhere. And I noticed that the people, it's like the world is upside down. And the people who are on the side of right, they're afraid to speak up. They won't speak up. And I wonder, how do you expect the world to get better if you're afraid to speak up about it? What's wrong? Anybody here afraid to speak up for whatever reason? And you can be honest, I won't judge you. I just want to know why. Everybody here speaks up. You afraid to speak up, Marlene?
At work?
You had your hand, right?
Yes.
You're afraid to speak up at work?
I mean, I think you've said not to like bring politics at work, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right.
And then I teach for a living, and it's hard to teach. For example, I was recently teaching like this sex ed class, and even though I teach history, you know, I'm not a health teacher.
Right.
But we were basically like, we have to do it. The history teachers had to teach the sex ed class.
You said sex ed?
Sex ed,
Oh, okay.
right, to the 10th graders. And we were told we were going to teach about abstinence, but nowhere in the curriculum was there anything about abstinence. So I'm like, you know what? So I just ended up putting my 2 cents, you know, like, you know, if you guys just want to avoid all this mess, STDs, blah, 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 just wait till you get married, you know, it's the best thing. But
You mentioned that to them?
to students.
Oh, good.
So in one way or another, like, I do speak out, but I'm not as direct as I am, like, in my, you know, personal life.
Right.
Because, you know, I'm in a public school, you know, so.
Well, one thing for sure, if you speak up in a public school now, you will lose your job.
Yeah.
You definitely will. But I still think if you live in the presence with God, you will see the right time to speak up. And if you got fired for whatever reason, another door will open up for you. It's like God will take care of you. Do you believe that?
Yes.
It really will. If one door closes, another one will open.
100%. So I was let go. I mean, I'm teaching till the end of June, or the first week of June, I mean. And I was let go back in January. They told me that they weren't going to renew my contract for the next year. So I've been interviewing you know, just wherever, like private schools, you know, Catholic schools, wherever.
Right.
So on Friday, I had an interview like at 3 o'clock, and I wasn't really worried about it. I'm like, you know, I'm just being myself, you know, just answering the questions, being in the moment, being in the present. And then like 2 hours later, she called me, hey, we really like your energy. We like that you like teaching, right, 7th grade. And they ended up offering me the job, which is awesome because now I can like relax and enjoy my summer and not worry about not having a job, you know, so 100%.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
The one thing I know for sure is when you are born again of the Father, that He will take care of you. He really will. He'll provide in ways that you just wouldn't imagine.
I was in shock. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. Like 2 hours later, I'm like, what? You guys are offering me a job? I'm like, that's awesome. So
Yeah, ways will open up.
Yeah.
I was thinking about my life and what I do in life right now. I never imagined doing what I do. It wasn't even a part of my thinking at all. I didn't go to school for it. I didn't think I would do it because I was uneducated. I thought you had to be educated to know the truth. But the people that are educated are dumb. Have you noticed that? They're like real dumb. And so I never imagined that my life, I didn't even grow up thinking I would do this. I really grew up thinking that I was gonna finish high school somehow or another. So I made it through that. I don't know how. By the grace of God, I guess. And I was gonna move to California or Atlanta, Georgia. Gonna get a job, buy me a house, a red car, and a lot of clothes, and get a lot of women. That was my dream. That was my calling, right? And for a while, I did that. I moved to California, bought a house at 25, bought a little red sports car, a 280Z, a lot of clothes, and I was a slut maker, like not going north. But then windows started to open up. One thing led to another one and another one. And I've always wanted, I had that emptiness for my father, so I always wondered about that. And I've always wanted to know what it's like to live on earth, as a son of God. As a little kid, because I heard if you live as a son of God on earth, life was supposed to be amazing. And I wondered, what is that like? I really want to do that. I don't want to die and live on earth. But live on earth miserably when they say you can have it with God, right? I now know what that's like. And I still don't know the extent of it, but to live as a son of God is amazing. It really is. The first thing he does is he wake you up. And then he starts to detach you from the world, from friends, places, your family members. I was talking to a young man in Arkansas yesterday. I've never met him in person, but I counsel with him sometime. And he's like 21, I think, maybe 22. And he was like, Jesse, I don't like hanging out with my family members anymore. Because he's in Arkansas, he always hung out with his family. He said, I don't know what that is, though, because I'm not trying to make that happen, but when I go around my father, my mother and grandmother and others, I don't like it. It just seems like a waste of time. And I just told him, that's what happens when you're born again of God. He calls you to be in the world but not of it. And when you're in it but not of it, you're not afraid of it anymore. You're not afraid of losing things. He will naturally change that. You will be alone, but you won't be lonely. Anybody going through that yet? No? Oh, okay. And it's an amazing way to live. You can live with yourself and not want to commit suicide. Because most people cannot live by themselves. They can't live with self. And if you want to be around someone, there are always people to be around. But it's like they have nothing to talk about. They talk about stupid stuff. It's like a waste of time. You're like, what am I doing here? Because sometimes even now I think about visiting family members, and it's so hard. I'm like, do I really want to? And I grew up thinking that I was close to my family members. And they are nice people, church-going people, really nice people. But it takes a lot out of me now to want to go visit. And I'm like, wow, that's so weird. And then I've got to a point where I literally don't care what anyone think about me. I only care about being right and doing right. But because everybody is born in sin, right? So everybody have a story. We all come from a bad place because we were born with crazy parents. And so I used to be concerned about that, but I don't care about that anymore. He changed all of that. And I say that to you because if you stay with the silent prayer, don't hate, your life gonna change. And you'll be in this mess, but not a part of it. You won't be of it. It'll just happen naturally, really. And you will have no fear, no doubt, no worry, and you'll just live your life. You know what I mean? And it'll be amazing. God loves us. He really does love us. But we can't judge one another or anyone. We have to love our enemies. You literally cannot hate anyone. Even those that turn on you, or loved ones, or whomever, you can't hate them. Because if you hate them, you're going to lose. Satan is your daddy. You will have fear, you will lose. And weird things happen in life. A whole lot of stuff is going to happen to you. You're going to have all kind of issues to deal with, but if you don't get mad, you'll overcome them. But the moment you get mad, you lose. And so the issues, if you deal with them in the right way, you will overcome them if you don't overreact to them at all. You know what I mean? If you don't overreact. You got to stop overreacting because Satan is going to throw a lot of stuff at you. But stay away from anger. And the first thing he'll tell you, you got to do something. No, you don't. God will take care of it because he understands. Our battle is a spiritual battle. And the men got to wake up. because the women need men. They really do. They need men to wake up. They can't find their way if you don't wake up. Unless you're out of their way and they seek God for themselves. But the world needs men. The light needs to come through the male. But men are more afraid than the women. I was like, what the? Even in my fallen state, I wasn't that afraid. I was afraid of women a little bit because it was the mama spirit, but I wasn't that afraid. But men today are that afraid. They're like afraid of everything. I never thought I would see a society where the husbands are afraid of the wives. The husband will let the mama beat up on the kids and won't say anything. Or yell at the kids and won't say anything. And they'll be like, Daddy, Daddy, help, help. That's your mama. What are you for then? You know what I mean? Yeah. Daddies, you're supposed to protect your children from the mothers. That's your job. And then you protect the mother from herself because she needs you to guide her. She needs, oh Lord. I'm playing. I'm joking. Speaking of Satan. No, I'm playing. But you're supposed to protect your children because the kids are subject to the mother. And you're supposed to stand between the mother and the kids and protect them from evil. But you know how, and the kids go and tell mama, Daddy, mama is mean to me. You know how your mama is. What is that supposed to mean? How do I fight this war knowing how bad mama is? You know what I'm saying? But there's an order to life, and that order is God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. And it works, and it's amazing. Outside of that order is nothing but hell. It's nothing but hell. So I really, really, especially these times, if you ever needed to know the Father, it's now. Because the world is messed up. The government, we have an evil government. Our government is evil. The media is evil. And when I say the government, I'm talking about the Republicans and Democrats. They're all there for themselves and not for the people. And they don't mind lying to you. They'll just lie to you, don't care. For example, I was looking at this story about the Asian, you know how the Asians are supposed to be under attack right now? And they're showing these different videos of Asian people being attacked. And then they were calling it white supremacy. But it's just black folks doing it. So I'm looking at the news report on it, and they were calling it white supremacy. And I was like, maybe I need my glasses. Because all the videos show black people doing it. The other day they showed one Mexican beat up an Asian in a Uber car or something like that. So, but 99% of the time, it's black people attacking the Asians. But they're saying that it's the white people. And I was like, how can they just lie like that and go have lunch? You know what I'm saying? How did that happen to us in the United States of America? And then I noticed, I hope to get this Asian woman on. She was on Tucker Carlson show, and she was calling it out. She was like, it's the black people who are doing it. It's not the whites. And she made the point that she noticed that black preachers are not speaking up about it. Obama or no one is saying anything about it. The media is not calling it black. And they were saying that, she also said that it's the blacks who committed most of the violent crime, but they won't say. It's like everybody afraid to say the word black. They just won't say black. Isn't that something? So I've been going around all week saying black, 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 black. They won't say it. How do we get to that? Where's the love? You're supposed to call it out so that at least somebody, these blacks who are doing these things will pause for a moment. Like, what am I doing? But if no one's saying anything, it's just encouraging the lawless folks to get worse and not better. We're supposed to love one another and be honest, but don't hate. Absolutely don't hate. That makes sense? Yeah. A lot gonna happen when you wake up. when you really return to the Father, Satan is going to come at you. People that are closer to you are going to turn on you. But don't hate, and you'll be fine.